Braylon goes to college. Woohoo! Braylon, you're going to college today, man. How does that make you feel? I feel great, Mom. I feel great. I'm so smart. I knew I was going to do this at an early age. So today, me and Mr. Braylon are at South Carolina University in South Carolina State University, oh gosh. In South Carolina, of course, because the name of the school is South Carolina State University. Wait, Braylon. And me and Mr. Braylon are going to be a part of a live study where the students who are going to school for speech pathology. So right now we're waiting on my aunt to come get us. She's Dr. Jacqueline Brown. She is the lead speech pathologist professor at the college. So right now I'm waiting for her to come get us so that she can take us to our destination. And we're gonna be talking about Braylon, his diagnosis, and then the students are going to basically say what they would have done as speech pathologists to get him, or get over his oral aversion, and to basically help him be verbal. So today's going to be learning for not only the students but for me and Mr. Braylon as well. So it's going to be lit. Good morning. Yay, perfect.
Yeah.
Woohoo, Braylon. Hello, hi everybody.
So I want you to tell me what's in your plan. So now we're gonna come back to the question. Tell me what you felt like was coming. I said three things.
Oh.
All right, so
You had it down pat.
so it's great. Is he kind of on point with so far? Okay. All right.
He is.
So group 3 is on point. All right, group 4.
So three things we said were cardiologist, SLP, and respiratory therapist. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, on point. So all right. So group 4, you guys are in the right part as far as professionals that will be working with Braylon. All right, group 2.
So, in addition to the other groups, we said like a feeding, swallowing, SLP, maybe there's a family support group, or psychologist for the family, and your notes are third one.
Yes.
All right. Group 1.
Make sure you're explaining your acronyms like A, C.
Well, I already know what it is.
Oh, you know.
Alright, so that lets us know what?
That she's been.
So far y'all said things that are pretty on point with what actually is a part of Braylon's treatment plan, right? So now we're gonna let Miss Grant, Braylon's mom, talk to you a little bit about what has happened and since birth. Kind of giving you that little bit of information at the beginning. She's gonna share his story, okay? Alright.
Okay, so Braylon, as you see, he was born prematurely at 23 weeks and 5 days. So he was extremely premature. The term that they like to use is nano-preemie because of how small he was. He was 1 pound, 9 ounces, and 13 inches long. He also had a feeding tube and a breathing tube in his mouth. So he has oral aversions because of that. Braylon, I don't know how much you want me to say or to not say. Braylon spent 365 days in the hospital. No, I'm sorry, 66
Braylon. That's Braylon doing that. Yeah, he does that all the time. He does that everywhere we go. So this is his device, and he uses an app. It's called ABAZ, ABAZ, and he's able to tell us what he wants and what he needs. Usually he just wants his thing, and he asks for his iPad. He loves playing on his iPad, and he'll tell me, like last night when I took him in the bed with me, I told him we were all done with the iPad. He kept doing a sign, like he just kept doing this. So I said, what are you trying to tell me? So when he does a sign that I don't understand, I automatically get his device, and he went to things, he went to iPad, YouTube, Libby. So he was telling me he wanted me to put YouTube on, and he wanted to watch Libby on YouTube. So this is one of the ways that he communicates with us, and he also uses ASL. Yeah.
All right, group 2. Let's start with one.
So our group is like, since there are a lot of stakeholders in the treatment plan, we need to do this with getting really seamless treatment or coordination.
So my schedule, I have a pretty open schedule, so I can work with all his therapists and his doctor's appointments. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it's kind of easy for us. Like his therapist needs to change around his schedule. I'm like, that's cool with me because I'm always home with him. Just let me know all the time. So his plan of care has been kind of, it hasn't been hard. He has doctor's appointments about every other month. When he first came home, he had doctor's appointments every month. But because he's older and he's no longer required to be on his ventilator, he has doctor's appointments about every other month. And I mean, my life practically revolves around Braylon and his schedule, so it hasn't been hard. Thank you.
Group 3.
Did you have any complications before my third pregnancy?
So yes, when I was, well not before, but when I was pregnant with Braylon, I have this rare diagnosis called hypermesis gravidanus. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it causes me to be sick 24/7. It's not really the morning sickness, it's me throwing up and spitting 24/7. I couldn't keep anything down, I couldn't keep water down, I couldn't keep fruits, vegetables down. So I ended up losing a lot of weight when I was pregnant. I lost about 20 pounds. And his dad would take me to the hospital every week to get IVs. At the end of my pregnancy, I ended up having to stay in the hospital. Before then, actually, when I was about 19 weeks pregnant, I was 3 centimeters dilated, and I had to have my cervix sewn up. So they call it a cerclage. That's when you have your cervix surgically sewn up. Within the next 4 weeks, I still was dilating. I was in a lot of pain, and I was actually having contractions. So by week 23, I was in the hospital. I stayed in the hospital, and they discharged me. And the day that they discharged me, I ended up coming back to the hospital, and I had Braylon 4 hours later. So I had him at 23 weeks and 5 days. Yep, at 12:08 in the morning. I know, Braylon, I know you want to go. Can you wait, please? Don't get upset. You can look to my daddy. Do you want your iPad? Come on, let's go. Let's go get your iPad. Come on, Braylon. Oh, your daddy has it. Come get it. I'm not going to bring it to you. Braylon, your dad has it. Come get it. Come on. Go ahead and bring it to daddy. And cough it up. Cough, cough, cough. You want to sit in your wagon? You are so lazy. There you go. Do you want me to bring it to you? So, it could be hereditary, but I'm not really sure because I'm a doctor, so I don't know my biological parents and my mom or how her pregnancy went. But when I looked up, when I did my own research, it said it could be hereditary. So, yes. Braylon has therapy about every day. So he has therapy on Tuesday, he has occupational therapy. On Wednesday, he has occupational therapy, speech and feeding therapy. His speech therapist is actually a feeding therapist, so she does both. And on Wednesday, he has speech and feeding therapy. On Thursdays, Wednesday he has OT, speech and feeding therapy. On Thursday, he has speech and feeding therapy. On Friday, he has physical therapy. So usually Mondays is the only day that we don't have therapy, but sometimes we do a makeup therapy section, and we end up having therapy. An hour to an hour and a half, yeah.
Alright? Group 4.
Okay. So we got most of our questions answered, but one thing we're more curious about is like, this is a lot. So we are more worried about like the counseling part of it. How was that process of counseling and like?
We don't get like any counseling. He did have like an early interventionist, but I kind of like told him that we did not need them just because the type of services that they were offering, me and his dad already provide for him at home. Like they basically just wanted to read to him, and we literally read to him every day. So it's like I feel like go take those resources maybe to somebody else whose child needs that, who doesn't get that at home. But honestly, I guess I kind of cope with Braylon being born on my own. I feel blessed that he was born early. I don't feel like it's a burden. Braylon has been a blessing to me and his dad. I feel like he has made me a more humble, more loving person, and he's like my best friend. So we travel together all the time. We do a lot of great things together. So I don't feel like mentally it has made me like depressed or sad. I don't wonder, oh, why is my child premature? Why does he have a trait? Because Braylon, I feel blessed because Braylon has a diagnosis that he's going to outgrow. It's people who have children who have diagnoses that they won't outgrow. So I feel like that is a blessing and it's all itself. So yes.
I have a question. So like just from watching him, like cognitively, just watching him, I mean like
He's really smart.
Right.
He's
He knows
intelligent.
what he wants.
And he's
like,
sneaky.
Yeah.
He's sneaky.
So
He understands a lot. He's just nonverbal.
Right. So
Yeah.
it'll just be the progression of
Yeah.
like the speech that'll come after the trait. But like
Yes.
cognitively, like that doesn't seem to be a concern
No.
as much.
Well, actually, Braylon can speak with his trach. His issue is that he had granulation tissue in his airway. So because he has a blockage in his upper airway, he cannot use it. So next month, he actually has a procedure that's called a Brown, where they're going to take a scope and they're going to put it in his airway, and they're going to remove the granulation tissue that's in his airway. After they remove the granulation tissue, do I have one, a speaking valve? Sometimes I just happen to carry one around. No, I don't. But it's a little purple valve. It's called a speaking valve. We will put that at the end of Mr. Braylon's trach, and it will permit him to use his natural airway to talk and to breathe. So after his procedure next month, he should be able to be verbal, and he should be able to breathe out of his mouth and his nose. Now, if that procedure fails, where he's not breathing out of his mouth and his nose, then they did talk to me and his dad about removing a piece of cartilage from his rib and putting it in his airway because his airway was collapsed at one point in time. So we're also going to see if his airway is still collapsed next month.
We can just do any random order. Every group is going to go ahead and
So we see that Braylon is very busy, but we were curious since he has a trach and G2 and he fatigues easily like during therapy sessions.
Yes, he does get tired very easily. That's why after he walked around, he wanted to sit in his wagon because he tires himself out. And he usually takes about a 2 to 3 hour nap in the middle of the day. So after we leave here, he's actually supposed to go to physical therapy around 1 o'clock. But if he's tired, I just want to cancel therapy and take him home so he can rest. Yeah, he does get very tired.
Oh, we're behind you.
Oh, sorry.
When he was in the NICU, did he have, like, with the trach, was he able to do any oral motor intervention therapies, like for sucking and stuff?
So for his first 3 months, before that he had a straight, when we thought he was coming home, he did suck on a pacifier. But after them putting the ET tubes back in his mouth and the feeding tube back in his mouth, I think that's when his oral aversion started. He also had a hard time trusting us putting anything to his mouth. More recently, he started to brush his own teeth, and more recently, he started to eat more. For a long time, he was not eating by mouth. For about 1.5 years, DeMarco, he was not eating by mouth. But now, we take him out to restaurants, he feeds himself, he eats by mouth. So it took him a while to even trust us putting anything to his mouth because of his experience in the hospital and because of his oral aversion.
What kind of dietary like restrictions did that have?
Well, So he has a G2, but he doesn't use it.
Right.
So for a while, he just was on formula. It was like a vegan plant-based formula that he was on. But then he started taking a syringe and drinking it out of the syringe. And where's his Yeti cup? So this is the only cup. This is the only thing that Braylon will drink out of. He won't drink. He has 4 of these all together. He won't drink out of anything else because of the spout and the straw. I can't get him to drink out of an open cup. I can kind of get him to drink out of a cup with a straw, but this is the only thing that he drinks out of. His speech therapist wants him to drink out of something else, like a little small open cup, but he refuses sometimes and he gets frustrated. But he will eat with a spoon and a fork. He knows how to feed himself mashed potatoes. He likes broccoli. He likes soup. He likes to eat food, and for a whole year, all he would eat was yogurt. But he doesn't have any dietary restrictions. He can eat anything that he wants to eat by mouth, if he wants to eat it. Yes.
Did y'all have a nutritionist or dietitian?
Yes, he does have a nutritionist. Yep, he has a nutritionist and he has a GI doctor. Yeah. Yes.
Does he produce any vocalizations or attempt to do vocalizations?
Oh, when he's upset with me, yes. I can hear him. So me and his dad, when we change his trait gets changed every week. He gets very upset with us, and we can hear him vocalizing with the trait out. But with the trait in, I can only hear him. He's really, really upset with me, like frustrated, upset with me, tired, throwing himself on the floor, rolling around, and I can hear big little noise like that. But other than that, he hasn't like tried to work like talk or make like sounds. Me and his dad ask him all the time, "Really, you know how to talk?" Like we believe he knows how to talk because he smirks when we ask him, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Stemming off of that, as a speech therapist, if you guys work with me, like, does he have like the oral motor, like the early sounds, like
Yeah, so she works with like when she's telling him to open something, she works with him doing this. But mom and pop, I'm not sure if he knows how to do those things yet. Just 2 days ago, he really just learned how to chew up and down versus like this. He just really learned how to chew like the correct way. She sent me a video of it. So he was trying to chew sideways, and she kept correcting him on that. So more recently, he learned how to chew the correct way. So he's just really learned how to chew in the past 2 months. Everything else that he was eating was soft solids. So now he's chewing like crackers, cookies. He loves French fries. He had chicken a couple weeks ago. So he's now learning how to chew by mouth. Yeah.
Before that,
Yeah, sometimes I would have to blend up his food, but I would make him like sweet potatoes. All you have to do is boil it, add vanilla, add butter, add cinnamon, add sugar, mash it. I would just make him soft solids, but if it was something that I wanted him to get some meat in, we would blend it up. But we only did that for a short period of time because he was to the point where he only wanted certain things. He only wanted vanilla coconut yogurt, and he only wanted mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes. Like he's real particular. I tried to buy him strawberry yogurt, and he did not like it. He got very upset with me. So yeah, he only wanted like some type of toasted vanilla coconut yogurt and egg mix, and I have some in the refrigerator right now. Do y'all have any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know, what was that process like when the speech therapist introduced speech generated device? What was that process like with teaching you that device with her? It's not office.
So she slowly introduced us to it. What's wrong? Oh, I got his cup. Sorry, Braylon. Is it some feed in there? Is formula there? So she slowly introduced us to it. What she did was she first used her device and to get really comfortable with pointing and being able to tell us if he wants something. So first we had to teach him how to point to it, and we had to basically demonstrate,